Page 16, on the bridge at Avignon. And I don't speak French, so I don't speak those words. It's a very well-known French melody. At least it's well-known to the French. In this lesson, they're introducing you to some more symbols called rests. You see, music isn't just sound. It's sound and silence, both intermingled. For every note, there is a rest that goes with it. Along with it. The idea with a rest is it gets the same count as the note, except you're quiet instead of you play something. The three they're showing you is the half rest, the whole rest, and the quarter rest. So let's talk about the quarter rest first. It's the same as a quarter note, except instead of playing a note, you're quiet. And it's a little squiggle thing. Now, it didn't always look like this, because music has evolved. You have to be careful. Some people say it looks like a bird diving down. I mean, it helps to have an imagination if you're going to study music. It really does. I don't care how you remember it. Just know that when you see that, it gets the same count as a quarter note would get. You're just quiet. Now, the whole rest and the half rest, those are the tricky ones because they're both boxes and they're identical. They're the same. The only difference is where they are in the staff. Now, they're both in the same space, but the whole rest hangs below a line and the half rest sits up on top of the line. So where they are depends on what they are. How do you remember which is which? Well, any way you want to, I don't care. I do it by thinking a whole is heavier than a half. Not really, but in my mind it is, because a whole is bigger. You got two halves to a whole. So I think a whole rest is heavier, so it hangs below the line, and a half rest is lighter, so it sits above the line. You can use any method you want, but that's what I've always used. Now the whole rest actually has two duties, two things it has to do. One or the other, not at the same time. It can be the same as a whole note, get the same number of counts as a whole note. Or it can represent a whole measure, regardless of how many counts are in it, either one. So if you look at this rest exercise line, you see that's in 3/4 time. But the second measure, there's a whole rest in there. Well, that rest gets 3 counts because it represents the whole measure. So you're going to see that occasionally. Just know that a whole rest is the same as a whole note or a whole measure. Yeah. So they give you a rest exercise. Yuck. I hate exercises. You can do that if you want to. I want to talk about this bridge thing at the bottom. I look it over. I see it's 2 lines long. The clef signs are still treble and bass clef. And the time signature is 4/4 time signature. And I see a bunch of quarter notes and quarter rests. And a half note at the end. And a half rest. That whole rest. We got everybody here. Huh. Now, this is the first piece of music in the book that's been technically correct. Because remember, according to the time signature, every measure has to have a certain number of beats in it. And before, if you weren't playing anything in a hand wasn't playing, they would just leave that empty, that measure empty. That's not legal. Well, there's an exception to that. There's an exception to everything, but let's forget that. The idea is now they can show the rest. They can account for all the beats. So even though in that first measure, you're not doing anything in the right hand, the top staff, now they can put in a whole rest, and that you got 4 beats in that measure. And that's really what we need. We need to account for all the beats in both staves all the time. Except for the exceptions. Don't worry about the exceptions right now. We'll get to those later. Let's just focus on this. So the hands, both hands are playing, but it's only one hand at a time. So to shorten the video, I'm going to take both hands together. Otherwise, I would do it one hand at a time first and then put them together. The left hand starts with thumb on middle C here. And the right hand in the second measure is second finger on D. So we're still in middle C position. And I trust you know the names of the notes in the music. If not, keep doing that play and say it drill. You don't have to spend a lot of time on it. Just go through and just drill yourself on these over piece after piece after piece. Listen, just keep doing it. It comes. We got to get these notes down because they're going to start adding notes here before long. So you want to have these learned well. So I'm here and I just kind of go through 1, 2, 3, 4. See, on beat 4, I'm resting for a beat. And second measure, 1, 2, 3, 4. Now notice that beat 3 comes up on beat 4, a beat less until the next beat starts. And that's important. You don't go at the beginning 1, 2, 3, 4, because I didn't hold that third beat down a full count. Hold it down and lift it as beat 4 starts. 1, 2, 3, 4. 2, 3, 4. So go through and get the notes working and the rhythm working. Get rid of the hesitations. And again, you need to be able to play this without looking at the keyboard. And once you can do all that, then we add in what's known as the articulation, which they don't give any, so skip that. The dynamics then, well, starts out P for piano soft, and you'll have to decide what soft is. It's soft for you. The second line, you get an F. Forte is loud. Whatever loud, don't super loud, just loud. And the second line then is all loud. They don't give a speed, so it's just somewhere in the middle, I guess, just whatever's comfortable for you. Don't copy me, please. You make it yours. You take it at your speed. Faster, slower, whatever. Just make it yours. Remember the natural accents? 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2. Exaggerate these if you have to. Exaggerate them if you have to, but make sure you're feeling these natural accents on everything you play. Just get into the habit of it. It makes your playing a whole lot more musical than it would be if you were just playing note, 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 note. I can tell, I've heard people at our local piano club playing, and you can tell when they're just playing notes, because it sounds like we're just playing notes. You got to turn it into music, into emotion. And the first step, in my opinion, then is the natural accents. There's more. We'll get to more later. Just let's focus on natural accents right now. So you learn it, and when you're ready, come back to the video. Let's play it together very slowly to check that you have all the correct notes. Rhythm shouldn't be a problem. They're pretty much all quarter notes or quarter rests. So I'll give us 4 counts because it's in 4/4 time. Now I'm not doing louds and softs, just doing the notes here. 1, 2, ready, go. Rest.